Alright, peace to the family. It's your boy Kufa Shabazz, Soul Conscious TV. Please be sure to like and subscribe and share the video. This topic is going to be about Adam and Eve and the Adam and Eve story. Alright, now first starting off, in Genesis 1, God created people in His image. Now in doing this, they became like God. Now these people are talked about in Genesis 1. Now Adam and Eve, they're talked about in Genesis 2. Okay, so these people that's in Genesis 1, they're never talked about again. We don't know what they did, or we don't know their story. All we got is the story in Genesis 2. But there were people made in Genesis 1. And these people, in my opinion, would be the spirit made in God's image. Because God would be a spirit, not male or female, just a spirit. Alright, now we get to Genesis 2. Now we start building a human being. We go into the biology of the Bible, of a human being. So Adam is not a real person. Adam would be Atom, the A-T-O-M. The A-T-O-M. That would be your Adam. And then the atom, I'm gonna get a definition. That's all good. Well, atom is just the smallest particle of any material thing. So if you take an apple and just cut it down as many times as you can, so you can't cut it no more, that would be the atom of that thing. Okay, so now getting to Eve, which is short for evolution. And then you could be like, well, what evolution of what? Well, she came from the rib cage. And if we look at the rib cage, we look at the rib, it's very similar to DNA. So what the author, because the Bible is inspired by God, not written by God. So what the author is trying to tell you, which these guys are mystics who wrote this book back in the day. So they try to encode everything. So you got to decode the message that's trying to be portrayed. So if you look at the rib cage of a human being, you can see that it's very similar to DNA. So with the allegory of Eve, we talk about the evolution of DNA. Alright. Now we get to the serpent. Now the serpent comes up and he speaks to Eve. Now off top, when you hear something in the Bible that's just so crazy that don't make no sense, like you gotta stop right there, because the author is trying to tell you something. This is something very important. You know what I'm saying? So we know snakes don't talk. So it's trying to tell us something else. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at the serpent. Now, I know a lot of y'all already know about this. The serpent, the spine, the Kundalini energy rising. And you see this on the health, so you know it's important. That's the little health logo for most medicine and medical places and stuff. But as you can see, it got the chakras chart. It's going up the spine. So the story of the serpent speaking to Eve and telling her to eat from the tree of knowledge, and ye surely should not die. It's the symbolism of the spine giving you feeling. Because if you rupture your spine, or you mess your spine up, you ain't gonna have no feeling. So that was that feeling that this human that's being born from the atom, from the evolution of DNA, and now we got the spine, which is that gives you your feeling. One of the most important parts of your human makeup. So let's keep it kicking up. Spine, serpent. Alright, so So now we get to the tree of knowledge. And man, I'm talking about it took me a few years to figure this part out. Because nobody really knows. But it was so simple, it was crazy. The tree of knowledge. With the branches coming down. This is the tree of knowledge. Now, the Bible say, don't eat from the tree of knowledge. Now, why would the Bible say that? Now, when you deal with the brain, you're dealing with duality. Two parts of the brain. So you got one side of the brain that does something, and you got another part of the brain that does something. But we'll get to that later, because there was more characters that's in the Bible. Just dealing with the brain. Whole story behind that. Now, when we talk about the tree of life, which they were supposed to eat from, you're dealing with the heart. Now, the heart deals with singularity. And you got the heart stores memory too. There's over 40,000 membranes stored in the heart. And the heart is your first organ developed when you're inside your mother. That's another reason we know it's an allegory, because you come from your mother. If Adam didn't have a umbilical cord, he would be the first person, you know what I'm saying? That would be super weird. But anyway, you got the heart dealing with singularity. Heart is the most important organ in the human body. And it deals with memory. And it's why sometimes it's good to think with your heart. Now, coming from a spiritual book, you can understand why they said they should eat from the tree of knowledge. I mean, eat from the tree of life. But they ate from the tree of knowledge. So, then we have a manifestation of their action. You know, you reap what you sow, basically. So, kids are born. And two sons, Cain and Abel. The left and the right hemisphere of the brain. Now, the left deals with logic, math, language, reading, writing, and analysis. Now, the left hemisphere of the brain will be Cain. This is the hemisphere that they want us to deal with in society today. Because if you pay attention, just think back to your school days and sitting in class. Most of the time, the windows was on the left side of your brain, on the left side of your head. And that was to keep that open and to keep the right side closed down. It's all psychological shit. These are smart motherfuckers that we dealing with. I applaud their intelligence in researching this shit. But let's keep it kicking. Now we deal with Abel. You know, that name right there should tell you something. You want to be able, you know. And that's dealing with personality, creativity, intuition, music, art, spatial abilities. And this is what they want to shut down. They don't want you being creative. They want you to be a motherfucking robot and go out there and get a job. Because if you're out here creating, you're going to be out here competing with them. It's facts. Yo, peace to the family. Soul Conscious TV. Like and subscribe. Share this shit.